Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our MOTS client entry webinar, April 6, 2022. April, it's looking a bit like spring here, and they say it's going to get warmer, so that's always great news. Jody is still not here, but we are setting up new schedules of meetings, and coming and going always takes a couple of minutes here and there. But I thought I'd start. I don't want to keep everybody waiting just for one person. Welcome to our MOTS webinar. For those of you not too familiar or new to it, we do this every first Wednesday of the month from 9 to 10. And one month we focus a little more on MOTS client entry, and the other month we kind of switch it off with focusing a little more on EDI, which is called electronic data interchange, which means the file submission of data instead of the data entry manually. The panel that popped up when you joined us has a little question box. So if you have any questions or issues, then just type it in there. And myself, or probably my coworkers who will keep an eye on these questions coming in, whoever the person is that is not presenting, can take a look at those questions and hopefully answer them. And maybe if it is a question that might be helpful for everybody, or the answer, it's a good question and the answer might be helpful for everybody, then we can bring it to the floor. So this webinar is recorded for those of you who are called out to something or think it's a good idea to share it with your coworkers. Usually it takes a day or two, maybe 3, depending on how quickly everything goes and how busy everybody is, to get it on our website. And we usually have the last 2 webinars on that site. It's not a whole list of all the old ones, because they are kind of current, and we talk about things that are going on at the moment and things that might be coming soon or just have happened and stuff like that. So we thought the last 2 webinars on our website are there for you to view. So for those of you who are called out or something or have to go somewhere else in a little bit. Cool. So my audio sounds good. I checked that. It looks like everybody is here. And Jody must be struggling with technology. That happens sometimes. Okay. Why do we do all these webinars? Well, of course, to inform you guys, to get information if there's any changes, if the MOTS system is going to be different. And we are making some improvements or enhancements to the system. I just got a message from Jody that she's having some technical difficulties. So hopefully that can be solved soon. So what we'd really like to do is discuss data issues. We have a lot of people who are really committed to the quality of data. We have a lot of those reports that go out, and Justin will talk about that a little bit later. We also like to get your feedback. We thought this is a great forum to get any questions, any ideas you might have for future webinar topics that we can maybe focus on certain parts of the system that you struggle with, or that you thought might be very helpful for people to know how things are going in your organization and how your people are dealing with all that. So, and as I mentioned, of course, if you have any questions, hopefully we can answer them here. And if we can't answer them in this webinar, then we will definitely find within our organization somebody who hopefully has the answer to your question, and then we'll definitely get back to you and maybe get back to the forum and send it into maybe our next messenger and stuff like that. So, because the webinar is not the only thing that we use to communicate, but it is one that I always really enjoy. So, okay, let's get going. What do we have on the agenda today? We have news update. We have clients in draft. Mary's going to talk about that. Jody's going to talk about secure email systems if she can connect. Justin has some talk about reports and data requests, because there's quite a few changes there. Agency name change. We have a little topic about that. We have some Compass news. We thought we'd make it a little broader than just MOTS, because we are expanding as we talk. So, and switching from CE to EDI. As always, Jody's great talking point. So let's give the microphone to Lyle so he can talk a little bit about the news update. Go ahead, Lyle.
Hi. So we have a new projected date of returning into the office on May 1st, which has a lot of our staff very excited. And then big new piece is that we're getting a new system admin for MOTS, which will be Kaylee Camilli, and I'll let her say anything she wants to about herself right now.
Thanks, Lyle. Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Camilli. I'm the new system admin for MOTS. I look forward to supporting you and providing information where you need it as we move along in the future. Thanks, Lyle.
Thanks, Kayla. I'm moving to a new role, so Kayla will be taking over for me. I'm still on the team, so I'll be assisting her as she transitions into the role, and I'll still be here. And we have no new news on the administrative burden, so until June 1st, let's just assume everything is going as it has been. Pete, I'll give it back to you.
Excellent. Thanks. Thanks, Lyle. Thanks, Kayla. Okay, let's go back and give the microphone to Mary, who's going to talk about clients in draft report. Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, thanks, Pete. So, as you know, providers that do submit MOTS through the client entry, there's a feature where if you don't have all the information for your client, you can put the information in and then save it as draft and then go back and complete it and submit it into MOTS. Well, currently we have over 300 clients in draft, and some of them have been in there for a very long time. And before the pandemic, I was reaching out to providers and saying, here's your list of clients that are in draft and how many days they are, and please complete them. And then it got to the point where just before the pandemic that we made a policy that if the clients that have been in draft for over 90 days, that we're going to start deleting them. Well, then COVID happened, and I kind of put a hold on that, and I didn't really send out any reports. So, but now, and I sent those reports manually, but Justin has created that these reports can be sent out weekly. So beginning today, I'm going to be sending out another report that has, if you have any clients in draft, that will list them and also will tell you how many days they've been in draft. And I'm just going to give you a week to look over those, over that report, and let me know if you need, help in getting those clients out of draft. You don't know how to do it, or maybe you weren't aware of it. So we have new agencies, so they may not realize that that when a client is in draft, it is not in the MOTS system. It's only when you submit them that they are truly in the MOTS system. So I'll give you a week's time to respond, and after that, I'm going to start, again, deleting all those clients that are over 90 days in draft. And then after that, we will send you an updated list of your clients that are in draft on a weekly basis, so that you're aware. Sometimes when you have a big list of clients, you may not be aware that some of them haven't been completely entered into the system. So again, if you already know that you want those clients, deleted, just please send me an email right away, and then I can just start working on deleting those. Or if you have a question on how to get them out of draft and submit it, again, send us an email. And thanks very much, Pete, for this time.
Thank you, Mary. That's very helpful. So yes, we're getting back to some of the more routine jobs. So thank you. Okay, and now I saw somebody else join. I'm not sure if the connection is there yet, but on the agenda we have Jody. Jody, Did you manage
Yes.
to? There she is.
Yes, I am here. My connection's rolling a little slow, but my screen should update here as soon as you click on that. We'll all right. Yes. Yay.
It's all yours.
All right. Thank you. So yeah, thanks everybody for being here. One of the things we've noticed with the pandemic and just, technology, there's been a lot of changes in systems that people are using, different ways to do remote work. And one of the things that we've seen is more and more use of encrypted emails in order to get certain things back and forth. So we've seen some challenges here. We've seen some things that work, and we just thought this might be a good time to review what the encrypted emails are, kind of what our perspective is, that kind of thing. So this may be a little bit of a primer for some, but just bear with me. But we're going to roll through this fairly quick. One of the things, we often get is what requires an encrypted email. Well, all protected health information on an individual or their personal identifying information are things that require that information to be encrypted when it is sent back and forth. Reports that we send from MOTS to the providers, such as the active client monitoring reports, different anomaly reports, things that we send out, are also things that we require to be encrypted, and those are sent out to you encrypted through our system. Attachments that would include the protected health information or personal identifying information, such as if you're sending us a MOTS data corrections form, that needs to be encrypted. And, kind of rule of thumb is if you're in doubt, should I encrypt it? Definitely send it encrypted or secure. Secure and encrypted are kind of synonymous. They mean the similar thing. Okay, so what types of secure encrypted email services are there? Well, here at the state, our encrypted mail services currently is Office 365. Many of you might be used to that we prior, I don't know how long ago it's been, but 6 months or better, we had used Proofpoint for many years. And we are no longer using that by the state. We've adopted Office 365 into a lot of the other Microsoft suite for the remote working and different things that we're doing to support our workflows and providers and services. So that's what we're using currently, Office 365. We have seen that there's a lot of other provider encrypted mail services. I see some of you, I see emails come through from Barracuda's one, Virtue. Some of you are still using Proofpoint as your service, and there's many, many others. So it kind of makes it unique when we all have different encrypted services to exchange emails back and forth and get logged into one another's systems. Pete, if you could go to slide 2 for me.
There you go.
All right.
Is it coming through?
It is coming through. There we go. Okay. So
Cool.
as I mentioned, with all these encrypted emails, secure emails, different systems, they all require different type of accesses to get into them. So what we've noticed here at MOTS Support, when we continue to get encrypted emails from providers from their systems, and even from ours, sometimes we're not able to log in. We're not able to log into your email encrypted service. Most of the emails that you are sending typically come to MOTS Support. And so when they are tied to the MOTS Support email, it makes the login and password and account setup a little different. And we have many folks who are supporting the MOTS Support inbox and working those requests that come through there. So if we're not able to log in successfully, sometimes even if we can log in, we're not able to open the attachments. And oftentimes, the whole reason you're sending it secure is because it's got an attachment on it that it has protected information. Emails from providers that come through Proofpoint, we've noticed, and this could be because we used to use it. We're not exactly sure. We're having our teams try to help us with this, but at times these are getting routed to our junk mail. And some of them are getting blocked altogether from being received. So if some of you, this makes it challenging because you're waiting on us to correct things, or you're waiting for an answer so that you know what you need to do next or how to move forward with something that you're working on. So what we recommend is, first of all, if you can try to determine what email needs to be sent secure or not, that would be helpful. If you're just like, hey, I need to know the timelines to report MOTS clients, or I got this specific error and I don't know what it means, but you don't tell us, you don't send a bunch of personal identifying information. When's the next MOTS webinar? Can I get the most recent up-to-date newsletter? The basic things really don't need to be secure, although when in doubt, definitely secure it. Just kind of thrown out there that you don't have to if it's really, really basic stuff. If you're needing to send an attachment, what we found works really well for a lot of providers is they will contact MOTS support or even one of us individually, if that's how you normally do your workflow, through regular email. And then you ask for a secure email to respond to. And so what that kind of does is it allows us to send you back a secure email through our system, and then you're able to log in with your username and password and reply and send it back to us. Also, if you have sent us a secure email and you've not heard back from us in like a week or something that you think is our normal response time, because we will try really, really hard to get back to folks as soon as possible, or to at least let you know, hey, we received this. We need to do a little more research. It's going to take some time. So it's not, every once in a while things slip through the cracks. That's just normal with all business. But for the most part, that's the exception, not the rule here with our MOTS support and our team. So if you haven't heard back from us, please send us an unsecure email and just say, hey, I sent you something, and that'll let us know to start kind of looking, and or we might just send you back a secure link through our system and say, for expediency purposes, to get it to us quicker, could you just resend whatever you sent us to here? So that's definitely, some we've noticed that we had a webinar, I think, last month with some other providers and for EDI. And, there were some that were like, hey, we sent a request, we didn't hear anything. And so this is where we started hunting things down and realized that there's been a lot of unique things kind of going on with this transition of ours. And it really works best for us if you can use our system. It makes it smoother and a little quicker for us, although we do understand that sometimes you have your own policies, and that the policy is for you to use yours, obviously, with your approved system. So I just know that we're working through these little anomalies as they come up here and there, and we definitely are available to assist you. So if you don't, and you might not even know, sometimes we send emails that we think, some systems will encrypt stuff if it suspects that it should have been encrypted and it wasn't. So we know there's a lot of things going on. We're all working hard to continue in this new way of working as we're kind of in, endemic. We're getting close to the endemic of the pandemic. So if you have any questions, of course, like normal, reach out to us. But we just thought we'd bring this to your attention in case you have been running into some of these issues. So with that, unless there's any questions, I'm going to turn it back to you, Pete.
Thank you, Jody. I saw there was a question and I wasn't sure if it was handled or not, but let's take a quick peek.
Okay.
I don't know how to send a secure email at all. Is providing instruction on this something you'll want to handle? I think the easiest answer is just send us a request. Just send an email to MOTS support, like, how does this work? And we'll get back to you with the procedures, and we'll send you an example of a secure email. I'm guessing that's the easiest way.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of folks are like, we don't have an encrypted email service, or, we aren't typically. So like Pete said, just send us an email, and we'll let you know how you can send it through our system, and we'll provide you with a link, or we'll reply to you with a secure one that you can then access. So we do that for a lot of organizations that don't quite have encrypted email services dedicated yet.
Excellent. Thank you, Jody. And then we're going back to the agenda. And the next item on the agenda, unless somebody wants to interrupt with a very question that is very topical, no, not seeing anything. Okay, Justin, go ahead. Report or data requests. Things are changing.
A little bit. Thanks, Pete. Can you hear me okay?
Excellent. Yes, sound good.
All right. So we're constantly pestering you folks as the service providers for data, and we would like to remind you that you can pester us for data as well. It can be a two-way street. So if you've got a whole bunch of stuff in MOTS and you would like some of it to come back in a different format, we have a tool that will allow you to do that. You can go to our website, which the URL is displayed on your screen now, but if you don't want to type all that out, just go to your favorite search engine and type in oregon.gov MOTS, and it'll get you to one of these pages. Then on the data requests and corrections page, which is displayed here, under the reports heading, there is a link that will open up a MOTS report or data extract request. When you click on that, Pete, if you'll go to the next slide, it'll bring up a form. This is just the top part of the form, but the form will walk you through a series of questions to say, what data do you need? And when you submit that, the request will come to me, and I'll be able to use it to generate some form of report or extract from MOTS that I can send back to you. I have to emphasize this is only for MOTS data. If you want something that looks at Medicaid or any of the other state databases, I can't help you with that. But for MOTS stuff, we can get it. For example, maybe you want a quick count of all your active clients between the ages of 18 and 25 who have alcohol as the primary substance. This would be a great place to put in a request for that. Or maybe you like the active client list, but you would rather have it once a week instead of once a month. We can do a custom iteration of that for you as well. Or maybe you also like the active client list, but you also want to see how many clients have been closed in the past 90 days, sort of an opposite of an active client list. You can use this to make a request for that data. We can provide the data in a number of formats, mostly Excel, but I can also do PDFs or just straight in an email. This can be summaries, or this can be raw data extracts, and we can set it up to run at just about any schedule you want. The only caveat there is that MOTS data, when it's reported, has a 24-hour delay. So if I run a report today, it'll show you what was in the database yesterday. Please feel free to use that anytime you wish. While I'm on, Brianna, I'd like to respond to your question where you asked, is there a training for new users to learn the basics outside of this webinar? We don't have any official scheduled trainings, but if you need help learning how to use MOTS, you can also go to our website and find some training videos. They'll give you step-by-step instructions for each field and how to use the system. Or if that doesn't quite fit or doesn't answer all your questions, you can send an email to MOTS support and we can arrange for a one-on-one or a live demonstration to do online, similar to the webinar that we're doing now, but just for you and just a walkthrough of the system. That's all I have, Pete.
Excellent. Thanks, Justin. Yes, we do training one-on-one or training demos, walk you through the system and answer all the questions that you might have. And we can do it for new organizations coming in. We still do them on a fairly regular basis. And we are discussing the fact if in-person training might be coming back somewhere this year, but we haven't decided on that yet. So we haven't really discussed it. The state hasn't made a formal statement on any of that yet. So we're just a little hesitant to say anything about it. So, thanks, Justin. Okay, then we go to the next item. Or is there any questions that need to be brought up, or are they all answered?
I think we're caught up for now.
Excellent. Thanks, Justin. Okay, Lyle, talk about agency name change.
Hi, everyone. So we wanted to let you know if you rebrand or if for any reason you have an agency name change, if you can please contact MOTS support. Recently, we've found some names that weren't updated, and it's caused some problems for people appearing like they're submitting their data correctly. And we just want to, take this moment to talk to you guys about how, in order for us to best support you, we need accurate information about your facility. And if you go through any changes, it might look like your facility is not reporting or not meeting its contractual obligations if you don't let us know what your name is when it changes. So we just really encourage you to go into MOTS, check your current name, and if there's any changes to any of that information, the MOTS system administrator for your agency can change it, or you can reach out to us, and we'd be happy to make those change. And as mentioned here, if you need a demonstration of how to change that name, you can email MOTS support, and we can get that set up for you, so you guys would be able to change any of your agency or facility names whenever you go through anything. And we just want to best support you, and to do that, we just need you to make sure all the information we have on your facility and your agencies are correct.
Excellent. Thanks, Lyle. Okay, this is going to be a little clunky because I only have one screen, but I should have this set up. There we go. And this is a view of the test environment of MOTS. We have a lot of, whenever there's new changes, we have a special environment that looks and feels exactly the same as MOTS, but it's just all kinds of made up data. And we copied some of the data from the regular system, but it's all. So I'm going to log in, and we'd like you to do that as well if there is any changes, as Lyle mentioned. And I am an AMH admin. So, but you as an administrator, first of all, you have to be the administrator, the agency facility administrator of the system. And when you are, you should have this button. If you don't have this button and you want to make a name change or update the information about your agency or facility, then please contact us, because then maybe we have somebody else assigned who might no longer be working with your organization, or who has different responsibilities and passed this responsibility onto you, but it was never really formally changed within the system. So if you don't see it, let us know. The way it works, you click on agency maintenance, and if you only have access to one agency, it should pop up. But since I'm the AMH admin, I'm just picking an example. I saw LifeWorks recently changed their name, so I type in Life, and there's LifeWorks. And as you can see, when you log into your facility, it actually shows you that MMIS name has changed. We do a check on this business name and the organ Medicaid provider number, ID. Then if it's no longer the same, then there's a check, and then you can update it by just saving it for the new name. So you click the save button to use this new name, because it was an old one. So that's why one of the it's very easy, just to make sure, and you go in, the name has changed, you click, and now it's all set up properly. It's very simple, very easy to make that change. So all you need to do is go into the system, click on the agency maintenance, and check. And I think I have another one, Lifeways Inc. and also one that I think had some issues with the Lifeways. There you go. See, there's another one. Lifeways Testing 2 is now Lee. So there's just some small changes, and it's nice to have the proper name, because if we look by just the business name, then we might not find the organization. And as Lyle mentioned, we might not find any data that you've been submitting. So it might throw off some numbers here or there. So that's all it takes. Click save, and you're good to go. And then I log off, and then I go quickly to the home page. And this is what Justin was talking about. And here is the button when you talk about data request and corrections. And if you how to request data corrections and the types of corrections sent. And here is the button for the reports. And there's the link that Justin talked about, the MOTS report or data extract request. You click on it and it opens it up. And as you can see, it has, is it a standard report? And if it's no, then it opens up new screens and new layers, and you can give all the information that you're looking for. So see if it's inactive or inactive and all that basic information, you can give all that information to us. So. Okay, and then I go back to this, and it should go back to slides. So, okay, did that bring up any questions? I see the question mark. I don't hear anybody, so I'm assuming they've been answered. Okay, that takes us to the Compass news. For some of you might have heard some stories here or there, and this is the MOTS webinar, but since MOTS is a part of Compass, we thought we'd bring you a little bit about the other things that are happening, because so many things are changing for our team and within our organization. And I'm pretty sure that within your organization, these things might be brought up. And if not, then that's okay too. But gambling has no longer been just a form sent to Herbert and Lewis in Wilsonville. It's a system that's been going for more than 6 months already, and it's called PGNet. We have ACR 2.0, which is a new version of ACR, the new and improved version of ACR, and ACR stands for acute care reporting. This is for the acute care hospitals within our organization, within Oregon. And then there's also CLICS, which is the, and I haven't memorized the acronym yet, but it has to do with licensing and certification. There's also a new system coming for that. So that's pretty interesting news, and maybe within your organization you might hear about. And the licensing and certification, I'm pretty sure you all will hear about it, that we have a new system that is better to report information, more accurate, more up to date, and gives your organization more information about how things are going. Plus it gives the unit within our organizations a lot of help. So they're working very hard on getting that going. So there's some basics going about printing stuff that is set up already, and hopefully pretty soon we can give more information about the CLIC system. Then the other interesting and exciting news is the BHDW, which stands for the Behavioral Health Data Warehouse. And what that means is that we are working on a system of data gathering to report even better to the behavioral health treatment programs in Oregon, or the CCOs or the counties or community mental health programs, any organization within Oregon that is related to OHA. One of the things that we are doing is we are merging the Medicaid data and the MOTS data. So we hired a contractor and we're working on setting them up, and we're giving them information. We're going through discovery sessions on what data is in Medicaid and MMIS, and what data is in MOTS, and how do we merge those two. So all those sessions are going on with the people that work for the contractor, which is Deloitte, in case you were wondering. And the hope is that by the end of this year, we have a behavioral health data warehouse. And the exciting news is that you can have your Medicaid and non-Medicaid information combined in a report, so you can have and that's one of our goals, and it has been the goal for our organization for a long time, to get actually a 360 view of all the individuals that are in any sort of our programs within the behavioral health world. So that's pretty exciting. There's also talk about a MOTS replacement, and we are also trying to get some contractors in-house that might take that on. It's just it's a plan, and we're working on it. There's no dates or any scheduling yet. So, and one of the things that we have heard here and there is, oh, then we can kind of stop and wait for the new system. No, just keep submitting data, because we never know when it's going to be there and how those things work. Because sometimes things start, and there's some there are some sad examples of government systems that were started and took years and never finished. So just keep doing what you're doing, and if anything changes, we'll definitely let you know. So that is the main news that we have at the moment. And then if there's no questions, I'd like to give the microphone again to Jody.
All right, great, Pete.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Jody.
All right, we will be talking about switching systems, and I did want to just add one thing to the potential MOTS replacement. As that project evolves, Kayla Camilli, our new system admin for MOTS, will be heading up that project, and I will be working right by her side to see that from start to finish. So as that becomes more of a possible reality, we will be doing some work to reach out to each of our different providers and getting feedback from you, getting some input. So if you see some communications coming from Kayla, MOTS support, myself, just reply back. We're wanting to get you involved as we progress through this. So just let you know it'll be a collaborative project. And as Pete mentioned in one of the meetings I was in, the data is going to be very similar, and there will be some additional things. But yes, keep reporting in the meantime. And if you hear any rumors or questions or you hear something, just reach out and let us know. Kayla will be happy to get back with you or one of our team and kind of give you the real scoop on where we're at right now. So, Pete, you did an amazing job. Just kind of wanted to throw that in there a little bit since it was MOTS specific for Kayla and myself. So, switching from CE to EDI. This is the process that happens if you are currently, as most of you are, entering through our web portal, and maybe you decide to get an electronic health records system that's able to submit your data to us through a file and exchange that data electronically back and forth. Or maybe your system you already have is developed something for you to be able to do that. I work primarily with most of the EDI providers, and I do some backup support and help the CE as Kayla and the team needs it for me. So you may see my name here and there. But if you are looking to change potentially to EDI, let us know. That's the biggest thing. Doesn't matter if it's 2 months, 6 months, a year, maybe you're fast tracking something in 30 days. Let us know so that we can get our resources geared up and have you on our schedule of what we need to put resources to. The second thing is the electronic health records and MOTS functionality of all the systems that submit to MOTS. All do it in different ways. And so our biggest requirement at MOTS is that the file comes in a certain format that MOTS likes and will ingest and will validate and then load the data. So with that being said, there's a lot of different ways it can be accomplished out of an electronic health record system and to us. So if you're looking and you're maybe, or you're talking to your existing vendor, just ask what the actual process is going to be from start to finish. There's always this kind of a little bit of the thought like, oh, it's electronic and everything's going to be automatic, So really understand what pieces are automatic, what pieces you're still going to need to put some staff resources to. I really have found feedback from other providers that it's helped when they've asked, can we see how the client enters this electronic health records and actually gets to MOTS? Again, that's going to tell you how much staff time might be required and who's going to do what. Because there will be somebody involved, even if you're doing EDI, involved that will be responsible for the MOTS stuff, and there will be some involvement at some level. So that'll help you know what that is. Again, there's no one way that is better than another. There's just differences in workflows, and we just have a set of requirements for the file. And again, there's many ways to get that to the end product MOTS needs. So we have no preference as long as MOTS likes what it sees when it gets it. So the third thing, project timing, this again goes with number one. Let us know. We want to get you on the schedule. We want to make sure that we've got resources and time allocated to you. Helps us prioritize work. There's a process for changing your data submission if you're currently submitting through client entry. We're very familiar with that now because we've been doing it 8 years. So we'll go through that with you. In order for MOTS to get these files that we're talking about and your data electronically, there's a secure file transfer protocol. We call it setup, a big fancy word, but SFTP. It's a server we have here, kind of like a post office, electronic post office, where your files come to us, and they come to us. And then you also have the ability where we send you back information. So we get that all set up to make sure that everything's connected and going back and forth. If you're changing client IDs, we kind of want to talk about that because there's a little bit of work on our side that will need to be done, which is normal if that's the route that we need to do. Really helps. This is kind of your part, but as the provider, but just defining your business processes. If you need any help from us on, helpful hints, what's worked, what's not, we have no preference exactly how you do it, as long as it gets to us in the appropriate timelines and format and expected data. So, but we're here to help to give you ideas of what others have done. We're going to test your files through EDI. So if you're looking at electronic health record programs, and they say, well, we already report to MOTS. We have X amount of providers that are sending data every day or however they send it. That's great. But you, at your organization, will still do a testing of your files specifically because there's so much customization, which is what makes the technology and all of this so much of value to us, that we want to make sure that all of that custom setup and maybe custom fields or different ways that data is getting populated from one place to another to hit the file, that it all makes sense. So we're going to test your files individually just so you're not surprised. And it goes pretty smooth, definitely. We're going to go live, and then we're going to do some follow-up. And the follow-up is really kind of valuable because now you're actually live. You got your data coming in and out. You got real information going back and forth. And sometimes we schedule the follow-ups either on weekly, biweekly, monthly, kind of whatever fits your particular situation. But it gives you an opportunity to plug in with us on a scheduled time to go over what you're seeing as you're actually doing this for real and sending us real stuff, and we can help you work through some of those questions that you may have in the beginning. So with that, a lot of information, but hopefully it gives you a nice overview. We've been doing this now, like I said, about 8 years, so we've kind of figured out what really works and hasn't worked well, which is the value too as Kayla, myself, and our team roll into possibly the MOTS replacement, getting that going. We've made lots of notes of these things and provider feedback over the years so that we can help to bring forward a much more exhaustive and inclusive product that works well. So with that, Pete, I'll hand it back to you unless there's any questions.
Excellent, Jody. Thank you. I didn't see any questions pop up, so I'll give a second to my co-workers, but I don't think anything is there. So that brings us to the final agenda item, questions and answers. And I feel that we've answered most of the questions. So, but if a question pops up after we've done with the webinar, you can always send an email anytime, mots.support@dhsoha.state.or.us. And we are there for you to help. There's several people watching that mailbox, and you should be informed if we can't answer that right away. And hopefully within a short time span, we will get the information back to you. As I mentioned in the beginning, the recording of this webinar will be posted on the website that you can see at the bottom, the homepage that I showed earlier. There's some stuff on there. So also on the MOTS website, there are, as I mentioned, other ways that we communicate with our treatment providers, and that is the MOTS Messenger. And in the MOTS Messenger, it's also a monthly magazine, basically, that gives highlights to what's happening within our organization. And also we have a list of the future webinars that you can click on, and the links that are out there. And then you can sign up for the next webinars. And the next EDI webinar will, this was the CE focus, and the next one will be a little more focused on EDI. Not huge differences, but some can get a little more technical with EDI, but the majority of the information is fairly similar. So, which will be on May 4th, the first Wednesday of May. As I mentioned, classroom trainings, which we always have at Cherry Avenue Training Center, have been canceled until further notice. We're waiting for the state to make a statement, and we are discussing other ways of providing training. Justin mentioned a very good one is our online training. We have small videos between 5 to 10 minutes that will tell you each different piece. And there's about how the different segments, the client profile, the behavioral health details, or the addiction details, or how to enter a crisis and all that stuff. So, general overview. There's 6 videos at all as a whole, I think. So they're all out there. But we also do our MOTS demos and our walkthrough using the GoToMeeting or the Teams meeting. More and more organizations are switching to Teams. That's the one we use, and if the people asking for a demo have Teams, then we can set it up that way, because it's becoming more and more comfortable with that, everybody. So, okay, any questions, anybody? Did I miss anything, forget anything? And as you can see, thank you for joining us. Below, Jody, Mary, Kayla is there, and that's her email, Kayla Camelli 2. There's already a Camelli 1, obviously. So Justin, myself, and the website where you can find all our information. Okay, that was it for today. Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.